Everyone's watching prices, the rich are watching power. You check your screen to see if Bitcoin is up or down. They check the world to see who's controlling the narrative. Because for billionaires, Bitcoin versus stocks isn't just about returns. It's about where control lives and who owns the future. When ordinary investors argue about which will go to the moon, billionaires are quietly asking a different question. Who's writing the next financial rulebook? Because the real game isn't fought on trading charts. It's fought in boardrooms, on regulation committees, in energy policy, in data centers under Arctic ice. That's where the next decade of wealth will be decided. Let's start with what almost nobody talks about. Bitcoin isn't just money. It's mathematical rebellion. It challenges every institution built on trust. It says, you don't need banks, or governments, or middlemen. It replaces authority with code. Stocks, on the other hand, are obedience assets. They exist inside a system, governed, taxed, monitored, and curated. They represent faith in institutions. So when you ask, which is better, Bitcoin or stocks, you're really asking, do I believe in freedom or in order? And billionaires, they don't choose sides, they own both systems. They hold Bitcoin not because they worship crypto, but because they know that if decentralization wins, they'll already be on the winning side. They hold stocks because they understand governments can't afford to let markets collapse. Both are hedges, not against inflation, but against ideology itself. That's something most investors never see. They're busy chasing profits. The rich are chasing position. To them, Bitcoin is digital real estate, scarce, borderless, uninflatable. Stocks are ownership in human productivity, scalable, flexible, politically protected. Bitcoin is chaos. Stocks are structure, and billionaires use chaos to feed structure. They take profits from volatility and pour them into long-term control. Because chaos always gives birth to order, and those who control the order own the next century. If you're enjoying this perspective so far, take a moment right now. Follow the channel and like this video, because here we talk about how the wealthy actually think, not how the media wants you to think. Let's go deeper. The question isn't which will make you rich, it's which will make you relevant in the new economy. Bitcoin is teaching billionaires a lesson they already understood but forgot, that money is faith and faith can migrate overnight. For centuries, banks monopolized belief. Now belief is crowdsourced, code has replaced clerks, and every billionaire knows, when belief moves, capital follows. That's why they fund both sides. They invest in blockchain startups while lobbying for regulation. They build decentralized tech while owning centralized infrastructure. They play both ends of history. Because they're not emotional about innovation. They're strategic about timing. Here's something that will surprise you. Bitcoin is not the biggest threat to governments. Attention is. The rich understand that money follows attention, and attention has already left Wall Street. When millions of 20-year-olds discuss finance on Reddit, TikTok, and Telegram, the next trillion-dollar asset isn't just Bitcoin. It's the network effect of independent minds refusing to be managed. That's what billionaires are watching. They're studying sentiment, not prices. They're buying data, not headlines. While the average trader refreshes charts, the elite track where trust is migrating. Stocks still represent the old model. Slow, regulated, predictable. Bitcoin represents the new one, fast, open, uncontrollable. But the real genius play is to own the bridge between them. That's why billionaires are pouring money into tokenized equities, AI-driven trading infrastructure, and digital custody systems that connect Wall Street to Web3. They know the future won't be Bitcoin or stocks, it will be integration, traditional finance wrapped in cryptographic skin. And when that happens, those already holding both sides of the equation won't just be rich, they'll be untouchable. The middle class sees Bitcoin as a get-rich-quick scheme. Billionaires see it as a get-freedom-slowly mechanism, a way to move wealth outside the reach of inflation, taxation, and sometimes even nations. They don't care if Bitcoin crashes 50%, they care that it exists, because its existence forces the system to evolve. Every central bank studying digital currency, every government drafting crypto laws, is proof that Bitcoin already won the first round. It changed the conversation from control to choice. And in every shift of power, the first movers write the rules. Now let's talk about something almost no one notices: the psychology of risk between these two worlds. Stock investors fear loss of capital. Crypto investors fear loss of relevance. That's why one seeks safety and the other seeks momentum. But billionaires fear neither. They fear being late to inevitability. They invest early, endure volatility, and buy influence while everyone else argues ideology. They don't ask which asset will go up. They ask which narrative will survive the next reset. Because history isn't written by those who predicted correctly. It's written by those who positioned correctly. If you're beginning to realize this isn't about coins or tickers, it's about control and timing, then pause right now and subscribe to Rich Logic. Because what we do here is decode how wealth is engineered, not how it's advertised. Let's go even further. Why do billionaires still hold so many stocks if they believe in crypto? Because stocks are leverage on governments. When you own parts of the biggest companies, you own influence over policy, over labor, over technology itself. Bitcoin gives freedom, stocks give power. And in the hierarchy of wealth, power always outranks freedom. That's why the richest build foundations, not fan pages. They donate billions not to give away money, but to shape the future conversation. Crypto can change money, but ownership of companies still changes culture. So they hold both: Bitcoin to hedge against the system, stocks to steer the system. Here's a secret hardly anyone mentions. Billionaires don't see volatility as danger. They see it as speed. Volatility is how fast the future is arriving. When things swing wildly, it means the old models are breaking and the new ones haven't stabilized. That's not risk to them. It's opportunity to reposition. They don't watch charts for comfort. They watch chaos for confirmation. Every panic is proof that transformation is real. Every crash is clearance on the next wave of innovation. So what are they really watching right now? Not the next ETF approval, not the next interest rate cut. They're watching infrastructure. Who's building the pipelines between old money and new value? Who's storing the data, mining the energy, securing the transactions? Because in every gold rush, the ones who get rich aren't the miners. They're the ones selling the shovels. In crypto and stocks alike, the billionaires are buying the shovels. The exchanges, the analytics, the AI models, the custody vaults. They don't speculate on hype. They invest in the rails everyone will need once the hype is over. That's how they stay rich no matter who wins the narrative. Let's be honest, most people in the markets are not investors, they're participants in someone else's strategy. When you trade on emotion, you're liquidity for someone's plan. When you understand psychology, you become the planner. That's what billionaires know. They don't just buy assets, they buy time horizons. The average trader thinks in weeks. The average investor thinks in years. Billionaires think in generations. They don't ask what Bitcoin will do next month. They ask what freedom will mean 20 years from now. Because that's what this fight is really about. Who defines freedom in the digital age, the code or the corporation? So next time you hear someone say, Bitcoin is risky or stocks are safer, understand that both are just tools. The question isn't which is safer, it's which gives you leverage over time. If you can hold an asset through uncertainty, you already think like the rich. Because wealth isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in how long you can wait without fear. And that's what billionaires are watching. Patience, not panic. Control, not chaos. Silence between storms. If this message opened your eyes, like this video and subscribe to Rich Logic. Because this channel isn't about hype or predictions, it's about logic. The logic that billionaires use to stay calm while the world argues, and the mindset that turns volatility into vision. Remember, the rich don't just watch the market, they watch the future, and then quietly buy it before anyone else sees it coming.